everyone, Rachel Stevens here, and we are on our last video for my whole Shebang action bundle, going over all the different action sets that are in this bundle, and we are now on our last one, proof batching. So I've got a lot of questions on this, and I'll just go through really quick what I use these for. I've written these to really streamline my own production time, my workflow. So let me just show you really quick the way that I set up client folders. So when I capture the raw files, I obviously have the raw files and I go through in Bridge and I do all my deletions. So I take roughly about 500 images per client, and then I'm going to narrow that down between 40 and 60 final selects. And then I do my adjustments in my raw adjustments in Lightroom, and then I export them into PSDs in RGB color 8-bit, 300 DPI. And I export those into this masters file. And then I have the order folder, and then I have the proofs folder. So if you did not see my Creative Live course, or if you hadn't read any of the blog posts, I never show a client an unretouched image. Now, when I'm shooting about 500 people a year, that's a lot of posts. I need to streamline that. So what I do is in my proofs folder, I have a PSDs folder and a JPEGs folder. The teaser that they get will always be retouched. That way they'll have one image that they can compare to the proofing gallery that they see. So they know that the basic retouching that I'm doing on proofs will be taken a step further when I'm completely polishing an image that they've selected for purchase, or that they have purchased. So the way that I do this is through batching. So I've written these actions that I call to batch. So it's File, Automate, Batch. And what I do is I tell Photoshop what I want it to do. So I've got my proof batching set here. So I'm going to go to Proof PSD. What Proof PSD is going to do is it's going to change the size of my master PSD files and bring it down to a smaller PSD file that I can use to render proofs. So I choose my masters folder, and then I choose my folder for proofs, my PSD folder for proofs. I want to keep the document name. I want to keep the extension. I'm going to start with 1, and compatibility is Windows and Mac. And I'm going to hit OK. So it's going to go through and it's just going to start changing the size of all the images in that folder. So I can go do something else. I can leave my computer. I can work in Lightroom. Photoshop is doing this now on its own for that entire folder. Now, if you're shooting weddings or something like that, this is so cool because you've got 2,000 images that you need to do an action on. Well, you just batch it and go do the dishes or something. Go do something else. So this is hugely time saving. Once I have my proof PSD files in, and let me just show you what they look like here. So this is the size. They're really small. 2.833 inches by 1.87 inches at 300 DPI. So this is going to render, it's beautifully on screen. So they can choose their images, but they can't print it. They try to print it, and it's just going to look like crap. So the next step is to do my proofing. So I'm going to automate here, and I'm going to do proofing skin smooth. I'm going to choose the folder that I want to apply it to, and I'm going to do save and close. because I don't need to make any duplicates. I'm just going to do it directly onto these. So I'm going to hit OK. And it's just going to go for it. And it's going to go through all of these images. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this in the video. Okay. So now we're going to just go ahead and open one of these guys. And you'll see now I have batch proof retouch folder in here. So now I have smoothed the skin, and I'll just grab my brush, like 60%, and I'll just go over. I know that this is a smooth skin full layer, so I'm just going to hit the details that I don't want to be smoothed out. Got my sharpen, that looks good. Deepen, that looks good. And then I'll flatten it. And you know, you can just do whatever other adjustments you want to do. If you want to pop the brightness, you can do that. It takes 2 seconds. So I just did that one image in like 10 seconds. You know, you've got 40 images. It really doesn't take that long to get an entire client's proofing gallery done. Okay, so we are going to now let's say that we've done all of our proofing PSDs. So now we want to get it ready for the client's gallery. So we're gonna make the PSDs into JPEGs. So you're going to want to click this. Remember the high-res JPEG and the PSD to JPEG. You're going to want to just click this override action save as command. So we are in the proof PSDs, and we're going to go to proof JPEGs. Mac is checked. Keep the document names, and we're going to hit OK. So this is going to go through all of the actions, all the images, I mean. And I'm just gonna, it's almost done. And it's zipping through them. Okay, so now we have in here our JPEGs. As you can see, real easy peasy, nice and quick. So now what we're gonna do, we want to give a client a copy of the color and black and white to look for. Now obviously with these images they're not quote unquote done. I'm just demonstrating the technique in which I speed up my workflow, not exactly doing them, you know, I would definitely hand do each one rather than just running a quick batch on it. Okay, so now we want to make black and white. So we're going to go here to the black and white perfection web. That's under web posting. And we're going to go to JPEGs. And we're going to unclick the save as, because remember, we're not going from a PSD to a JPEG. That's the only time we ever click this save as. And we're going to change the extension. We're going to change it to black and white. And then we want it to say JPEG at the end, so we're going to hit extension here. And let's check everything. Everything looks good, and we're going to hit OK. So now it's going to run through all of these, so I'm going to fast forward while we wait. Okay, so now let's look at our folder. So now we have all of them in color and black and white. So the only thing left that I would have to do if I wanted to was I could batch out my watermark over them, and then I'd be good to go. And as far as proofing goes, so that's how I handle that. Now for this one here, the where I use this is for clients that order all their images high res. I do the same exact thing. I go automate, batch. I've got the high res here. I'll go to masters, obviously, because we want to go from our master large files. And then I would choose, in their order. And I would fix this back to extension and then back to nothing because we want it to be the file name and then the extension, which would be JPEG, which we render out. And then obviously for the PSD to JPEG actions, we hit override action. So that would take some time. So then it's going to batch out all those for me so I don't have to do it. Then I would repeat the step for the black and white. So I would have both color and black and white. And then I'm done. Then I've got that order done. So the other ones we have in here is cut sharpness for web, which sometimes they get a little overly sharp. You can just hit that. We've got post to Facebook, and where I use this is after I've got the high res JPEGs done in both color and black and white. Clients also like to have the web versions they can post online. So then I would go to where those live and I would put them in, in the order I would say print and web. I'd put 2 folders in there for that. And then I would select that. And then I would make sure these are changed, make sure this isn't selected, post to Facebook, and I'd hit OK. And it would just make all those web files for me. The revert to original, that's in all of these. So if you get lost, you can just go back to where your very first history state for when you opened the image was. That is everything. That is the whole shebang. This is the action bundle that I've been working on for the last 8 years, all put together in this handy dandy bundle. You can get all of these for just 75 bucks. Again, it's store.rachelstevensphotography.com, and Stevens has a PH. Please like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rachel Stevens Photography for Women. Thank you so much, and we'll see you online.